That's what I try to tell part-time agents is that your day-to-day is not going to change. Yeah, I want to go full-time real estate. It's like, well, you get up every day and work all day now. When you go full-time real estate, you're going to get up all day and work all day then.
And then only after 6 months you're gonna see results, right?
Some people do go cold turkey. I got 6 months worth of reserves. Let me just quit everything and go
That's how
real
I
estate
did it.
full-time. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that
It was tough.
play out?
Yeah, I had some savings, so I figured that I'm gonna have sales faster. I thought it's
But
gonna
you
be
made
easier.
it. You continued to. You
Yeah.
never had to go back to a job.
No, I just kept going. I went into that, but I kept
A
doing
lot
it.
of people don't. A lot of people have reserves for 6 months, and they don't get a sale that quick. They have to go back to their job.
Yeah,
Um,
but it was
and
tough. I thought about it.
I
I
mean,
just kept going.
when you have reserve for 6 months, you have that financial pressure. It
Yeah,
kind of affects your communication
for
to
sure.
your clients.
Yeah,
They can kind of hear you're a little desperate. They can't. They
for
don't know
sure.
why. They can't put their finger on it, but they have some kind of red flag
Mm-hmm.
because the way your tone,
Yeah,
something about the way you're talking
yeah,
just doesn't quite jive. And at the end of the day, it's because in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I got to make a deal because I only have 2 more months of reserves. And that makes it really tough, I think. I think everybody should have a job.
should start part time
Yeah, start
slowly,
part
but put a
time.
lot of effort into this.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen by
My
itself.
dad always said, don't quit a job, just add to it, which
Yes.
meant always have 2 jobs. Um, so I always had 2 jobs. When I quit real estate and went to roofing, I was also serving tables at night. I would roof all day and serve tables all night.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
In 2008, I think 18, I was 11 months in the business. I reached out to you on the DM because the first time I heard you, it was a Real Estate Rockstars podcast. I really like what you had to say because you talked about making cold calls, and then Pat asks you, and then if they're not interested in selling, you ask them, who do you know who's going
Yeah.
to sell? And you said, no, I don't do that. I just ask them, do they
Mm-hmm.
have a realtor, and give me your email.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you said, because when you're asking, do you know anybody else, you're putting like, hey, can you help me? Can you
Yeah,
help
yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah.
So like I remember that, and I'm like, who's Rick? And I'm just started researching this and that. So I kept like watching your stuff, and then one time I had a deal, 2 deals fell apart. If you look in your DMs, you'll find my text all the way from 2018, and I had 2 deals fall apart, and I had a mindset problem. Like what the hell? I'm just I'm working so hard, and this thing's not working for me. And then you called me, and we spoke on the phone for like 30 minutes, and then you helped me out a little bit. You said you were ahead of the game. Already you were doing deals. You're only like 18, 11 months in the business. You're doing deals, but you have to put a focus on people that you trying to make money here on this person. You're trying to help them sell or buy. You trying to make money. It's their decision. It's their property. They want to do whatever they want to do, and so it helped me out a lot. So that's it's a big. And I've been following your content for
That's amazing, man.
since 17, I think. That's when
So
I
you
started.
DM'd me back in the day, and I just called you.
Since then, 2021, I sold 132 houses, and then
Wow.
222 last year, and now we're going for 400. But we're now a team and a brokerage. A lot of my success was because I was following your stuff, so
Yeah.
it was pretty good.
That's good
Um,
stuff, man.
Yeah. So right now, you still selling or no?
As far as day-to-day listings and sales and stuff.
But you
So
still do your weekly email.
yeah.
You get
So
some clients
I took
for
a
that.
step out of production. So Dad handles all the day-to-day listing appointments, sales negotiations, all that stuff. And I'll step in and help him if he's out of town or
Yeah.
if he's double booked or if he's sick or something like that.
So if the phone call goes to you, you saying, "Hey, call my dad."
No,
Like from
I'll
your
fill it out.
yeah.
I'll talk to him and see what they got going on and stuff. Most everybody's calling Dad now though.
Calling dad.
Yeah. Because his number's on the weekly email
Oh, I see.
and on
Mostly
MLS.
sellers. Mostly sellers.
Sellers and buyers.
Buyers too.
Yeah.
Like in your like how many? Do you know how many houses you sold throughout the years or no?
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000.
Yeah, over 1,000.
And it's mostly sellers, or it's like 50-50?
I would say probably 75% sellers.
Yeah.
Yeah, 75% sellers. But the buyers are mostly sellers who bought.
Yeah.
Right. So like I focus primarily on property owners. And when you do that, it really creates an efficient business because, every client is such a high quality client because they could list, which is, the greatest thing to agents ever. You have the power of all the other agents trying to sell that listing
Right.
for you. And then, when they become a buyer, they're the highest quality buyer because they already have experience in buying. So,
And MLS is such a beautiful tool that we have. We don't have like I'm from Ukraine. We don't have that in Ukraine. Like
they
this
don't have
thing
it in
nowhere probably except for
Australia, and South Africa, and Brazil. I mean, they're dying, they're crying for MLS
this
or
is
some
just a
kind of structure.
beautiful thing. You put it up there, you have all the brokers in the
These other
world trying to sell
countries,
it.
you know, the sellers will go out and list their property with like 8 or 10 agents,
Yeah.
and whoever brings the buyer first wins. You know, could you imagine every listing you had, there were like 8 other agents who have the same property listed,
Yeah.
trying to go find the buyer before you do, and you're really racing, you know, whoever can find the buyer first. It's a completely different mindset. But I've thought about those scenarios and those situations and how I would capitalize under those circumstances. And, you know, I would absolutely, completely annihilate that situation because, like, there's advancements in technology right now in the U.S. that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's things that'll come for real estate agents. Let's just say in 8 years, 10 years, that we're oblivious to it right now.
Hmm.
And whenever that advancement technology comes, you know, let's say 15 years from now, the people are going to look at whatever that advancement technology is and say, man, I could never live without this, right? But here we are, 8 years
Yeah.
before it comes out,
Sure.
talking about how great MLS is. Before MLS came out, right, in the U.S.,
The book.
yeah, they had the book and
Yeah.
everything else, and agents didn't know MLS was even a thing,
Yeah.
and they were out
And
there
the
crushing it.
electronic signature, you know.
And so in these other countries, I would have such a stack of people looking for properties. Like, I would build my inventory of people, probably mostly investors or whatever, looking for properties, right? Whereas as soon as I get this listing, I just boom, email it out
Email
to
it,
my list
yeah.
of thousands of people that, you know, to my entire database. I would just have such a massive database that I would be able to boom.
Commercial real estate is a little bit like that too. You
It
know,
is.
things don't sell on the open market. They usually go sell through email or
Yeah,
phone
I mean,
call, text.
Once a commercial deal hits the open market, normally it's been basically that's
not a good
basically the
deal.
trash can for
Yeah.
commercial properties.
That's
It's
right.
like everybody's
Yeah.
already looked at it and
Yeah.
passed on it, and so now let's throw it out there and see if
For
we
sure.
can get somebody in the open market.
So the goal for the commercial buyer is to get a hold of all the brokers that doing deals and just get on their lists. You know, that's what
To get them to send you deals, you mean?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just depends on what part of the commercial realm you are. You know, if you're the broker, if you're the buyer, you know, if you're the seller, you know.
If you're the buyer, you're looking
Yeah, if you're
for
the
deals.
buyer, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're the buyer, yeah, having great relationships with the commercial brokers that
Yeah.
get these off-market deals where you basically get privy to.
You just have to let them know that you're a serious buyer because they're
Yeah.
gonna down the list. Who's the
You
best
have to
buyer?
kind of build
for-
your reputation with
Yeah.
the brokers
Yeah.
who, you know, get the deals.
I got a question for you. So your weekly email, right? So you would call, and you would call the owner, and if they say, "Yeah, I'm not interested," most of them probably not. You get an email, but then you don't follow up. You just keep the email. You do the weekly email.
Yeah, I mean,
every
that
week.
wasn't ever like the strategy. The strategy was to call them every once in a while, check on them.
Yeah.
You know, in the back of my mind, you know, that was what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
I just never got around to it.
Yeah.
Like, I have a box in my closet
Uh huh.
that's on real paper
Uh-huh.
of every single phone number I ever called of property owners for the last 20 years, right? Because before Red X and auto dialers, you know, I hand out everything. And I wrote everything was written down on a piece of paper, right? Like, I would have the 100 numbers that I found, I would write them down on a piece of paper. And I have a box of all those phone numbers with notes and everything. And I kept all that because I was like, I'll call these people again. You know what I mean? But I never did.
Yeah.
And
Why
the re-
not? You were
and
going
the
for the
reason-
next.
And the reason why I never did is not because I was going for the next. If I was just going for the next, then I could have said, okay, let me time block a week to call through my database, right? It wasn't on to the next. It was that I was too busy servicing clients, buying properties. It's like for 8 hours, it got to where like for 8 hours, I was literally just showing property, negotiating, writing offers, going to listing appointments, you know.
Do you think you could have skipped the calls just by a bunch of emails?
No.
You think the calls made a
Yeah.
difference?
Yeah.
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 Everybody wants to
I
cut
bought a
the,
lot of emails, and
right.
I sold a lot of properties off that.
Because now, like, for example, you talk to somebody, you get an email, 5 years down the road, they reach out to you. They don't remember probably your voice anymore.
That's one scenario.
Uh-huh.
Another scenario is you call them and they buy something today.
Yeah.
Another scenario is they buy something in a month.
Yeah.
Another scenario is they buy something in 6 months, year, 2 years, 10 years. So all these scenarios happen, right? It just depends on them and who created the deepest relationship with that property owner.